Good day, ma'am. My name is Maria Caroline P. Modanza, and my partner's name is Jacqueline M. Hanog. And our topic for today is about cakes. So, cakes. Fortunately, producing cakes in quality is relatively easy if the baker follows good, well-balanced formulas, scale ingredients accurately, and understand basic mixing methods well. With only a few basic formulas and a variety of icing and fillings, the chef or baker can construct the perfect dessert for any occasion or purpose. They can be presented in many forms, from simple sheet cakes in cafeterias to elaborate decorated works of art for weddings and other important occasions. Breads are lean products that require strong gluten development and careful control of yeast action during the long fermentation and proofing periods. The baker's job is to create a structure that supports these ingredients and yet keep it as light and delicate as possible. The selection of high-quality ingredients is, of course, necessary to produce a high-quality cake. However, a good ingredients alone do not guarantee a fine cake. A thorough understanding of mixing procedure is essential. Slight errors in mixing can result in cakes with poor texture and volume. So, we already know, diba, kanang pag mag-try tag-bake, especially pag first timer, dili mo gina-fermente or diretso agad nga kuan ay kanang perfect na ang pag-bake. Kay naman gid na ang failure. But later on, as we go, we try to bake more and more as we try to practice more in baking. Sooner or later, makakuha na kita, ma-perfect na nato ang pag-bake. So, cake composition. A layer of cake has three things. First is cake base or meringue disc layer. Second is sugar syrup. And third is icing or filling. So, sa wala pa nakakuan sa pag-bake og cake, para mas mapalami ang kanang cake nga atong gina-try is, gabutang sila og kanang syrup, sugar syrup sa kuan. Bali, muna ilang gina-spray. Dili na to na makuanan. Atong first kay, wala gyud ko kabaluan na at first, gabutang din sila ginana. Pero later on, sa pagkakuan ako, pagkakita na ako sa mga videos bitaw sa gabuhat og cake, gabutang na sila to make the kanang kuan bitaw ang cake base, kanang ang kuan sa sponge cake nga mas makuan siya, kanang dili siya kanang tabang, di siya bland ang lami. So, cake is composed with gâteau and torte. Gâteau is a French word that means 3 layers, and torte in German word which means only have 2 layers. So, cake base acts as a skeleton of a cake, should be high enough to allow decorations on the side of the cake, yet the base of the cake should not be heavily that might squeeze out the filling. So, in kuan sa cake base, di ba kay, kuan man na, kung mag-bake kitag cake, kung natay ka ng cutter, kang ato na silang kanang balibahinon ikatulo or ikaduha, para magkabutang og filling, dapat ang cake natong gikuan kay dili ka ng kabugatan sa murag, kabugatan sa bato. Kay ma-flatten manggod ang kuan, then labi nagdagan kay kagibutang nga filling, then mura to bugat din kay ang cake ngay mo ang gikan ng bugat din ang cake ngay mong gi-place de. Ang result ana, ang imong filling nga gibutang dito kay mo gawas, like mo spread out siya sa kilid. So, types of cakes. We have the shortened and unshortened. So, shortened, high-fat cakes. They are high-fat cakes. Then, the gluten formation and protein structure is shortened, which creates a denser product similar to a quick breads. So, mga kuan siya, mga kanang ang shortened cakes is mga nigpis ni siya. Kay denser product similar to breads naman siya. So unshortened is sometimes called as foam cakes, contain no fat. They are leavened by air, which is beaten into eggs, and by steam, which forms during baking. So we also have pound cakes and butter cakes. So ang pound cakes is, four main ingredients of this is fat, sugar, eggs, and flour. It is derived its name from the amount of ingredients mentioned earlier in its traditional recipe. 1 lb of butter, 1 lb of sugar, 1 lb of flour, and 1 lb of eggs. And butter cakes is heavy and dense. As compared to the pound cake, it replicates some of the egg with milk. So, creaming method. Most commonly used in making this cake's batter. Creaming method. Cream the butter and sugar together, add the eggs, shift together the flour, salt, and baking powder, add the dry ingredients alternately with milk into a creaming mixture. Then combining ingredients into homogeneous mixture using so we have 5 types of that. So first one is using the wrong type of fat. You should not substitute regular shortening or butter for emulsified shortening in cake batter recipes. Butter has a desirable flavor but relatively poor emulsifying ability. High ratio shortening contains emulsifiers that enable it to hold a large amount of water without curdling. Then, having the ingredients too cold. Emulsion are best formed when the temperature of the ingredients is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 degrees Celsius. Then, adding too much liquid. This is not a problem if the formula is a good one. However, if you are using a formula that is not properly balanced, it will call for more liquid than the fat could hold in emulsion. The next is adding the liquid too quickly. In most cases, the liquids including the egg must be added in stage. That is a little at a time. If they are added too quickly, they cannot be absorbed properly. In batters made by the creaming method, the liquid is often added alternately with the flour, and the flour helps the batter absorb the liquid. So makakuan ta ni pag once nga magmix ta sa magmix ta og dry ingredients and liquid ingredients, diba? Kay gina-alternate na to para ma-well combined. Like walay para ang katong mga dry ingredients na to such as katong flour, baking powder, yeast, or whatsoever dry ingredients kay ma-well balanced bitaw siya, well combined siya, well mixed. Then, mixing the first stage of the procedure too quickly. If you do not cream the fat and sugar properly, for example, you will not form a good cell structure to form the water, which is called forming air shells. So, sa diri kay pag once nga mag-mix manggod ta, kung makakuan ta, diba, kay mixing the first stage of procedure too quickly. So, example, labi na og kanang ang ato ang kuan kay ma-overbeat kung kuan na to kay kanang mag-mix ta, kung i-mix na to ang kuan, especially pag naay butter kay pag ma-overbeat manggod ang butter kay naay kuan gyud anang first hand gyud naka-try na pud mi og kanang bake in sa kuan mo sa grade 9, and then nagkuan mi atog cake. Then ang kuan sa mo sa mga teacher adto kay dili kanang ang sa pagkuan gyud one way ra, aside sa pag one way ra ang pag-mix, dili gyud kanang paspason bitaw nga dinali-dali nga mura ka gilakag og kanang kuan, gilakag og iro ang pag-beat ni ay ang pag-mix nimo. Then dapat pod time and pace pod sa imong kuan kay Slow baking man gud kay dili na man gud na siya kailangan dali-dalion. Kay na gyud na siya panahon, like kailangan gyud na siya time para ma-perfect. Aside sa ma-perfect, para mas ma-better ang lami o ang itsura sa imo ang ginabake. So we have forming air cell and developing texture. So air cells in the cake batters are important for texture and leavening. Correct ingredient temperature and mixing speed are necessary for air good cell formation. Whipping may be done by high speed at first, but the final stage of whipping should be at a medium speed. For best foaming, egg and sugar mixture should be slightly warm, or 100 degree Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius. So, makabantay tani kung sa cake nga to ang try or sa maski sa mga pan kakuan man ang murag na yung mga buslot gamay muna siya ang forming air cell. So developing texture, the uniform mixing of ingredient and the formation of air cells are important to a cake's texture. For the most part, we want very little gluten development in cakes, so we use cake flour which is in a low gluten. If the batter is mixed too long after the flour is added, or if it becomes too warm during mixing, and the cakes are likely to be tough. So, kung kakuan mo sa picture, makita na ninyo dira, di ba, mo siya ga-alternate. Then, what if ang imo ang kuan kay ang imo ang kanang ang imong feeling ana kay gakuan ka gaad kag butter or ga cake kana bitong butter cake kakuan man gud mana mostly daghan kay ganahan og butter cake, and we all know pag once nga butter cake gayeng kuan kay murag dali ra siya malusaw, kanang murag dali ra malanay ba, then kanay mo ang ikuan, di ba, murag lain kayo sa kuan nimo, labi nag ikaw nga baker, di ba, gusto big ikaw og kanang ang ma-serve ni mo nga cake or ang ma-present ni mo nga cake kay tsada sa pananaw og lami pod. So high fats, we have creaming method and two-stage method. So the creaming method, also called the conventional method, was a long time that standard method for mixing high-fat cakes. The fat specified in creaming method formulas in this book is butter. Butter cakes are highly prized for their flavor. Shortening adds no flavor to cakes. Some bakers may prefer to substitute shortening for all or part of the butter in these formulas. So, next is the two-stage method. High ratio cakes contain a large percentage of sugar, more than 100%. Based on the weight of the flour, they are made with more liquid than creaming method cakes, and the butter pours more freely. Two-stage mixing method is a little simpler than the creaming method and procedure, a smooth batter that bakes up into a fine-grained or moist cakes. So next, reporter, please.